Big news out of Cleveland. There's a wild new mock draft that's got everyone talking. The Browns are being projected to make a huge trade to move up for a quarterback, and it's dividing the entire fan base. Is it a bold move toward the future or another costly mistake? Let's break it all down. But first, click the like button and come with me. I'll tell you everything. The Cleveland Browns might be on the verge of making the most polarizing move of the 2025 NFL Draft, trading both of their first-round picks, including the valuable one acquired from Jacksonville, plus a potential day 2 pick in 2026, to move up and select quarterback Fernando Mendoza with the number 1 overall pick currently projected to belong to the Tennessee Titans. That's exactly what Dane Brugler from The Athletic suggests in his latest mock draft, and it's already sending shockwaves through the Browns fan base. This scenario, as mapped out by Brugler, would see Cleveland give up a massive amount of draft capital for Mendoza, a quarterback prospect who, while gaining traction in NFL circles, is far from being viewed as a generational talent. Mendoza has drawn comparisons to Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins, smart, accurate quarterbacks who can win games in the right system, but who don't single-handedly elevate franchises. For a Browns team still mired in instability and offensive inconsistency, the idea of spending such a steep price for a quarterback who needs a strong supporting cast to thrive feels like a desperate reach rather than a calculated swing. And that's the core issue. Cleveland is in no position to be mortgaging its future for another quarterback project. This isn't about Fernando Mendoza's potential. He may very well be a solid NFL starter. But the Browns, as currently constructed, are not a franchise built to support a young quarterback, at least not yet. The offensive line remains shaky. There is a dire need for wide receiver talent. And perhaps most importantly, the coaching situation is a mess. Kevin Stefanski is still the head coach, but his offense lacks creativity, consistency, and the development pipeline for young signal callers. Think about it. Every quarterback that's stepped under center in Cleveland lately has looked lost. Whether it was Deshaun Watson, who has yet to regain his form, or veteran journeymen like Joe Flacco and Jameis Winston, none have shown stability in this system. Even Dylan Gabriel, who shares some traits with Mendoza according to Brugler, couldn't survive the chaos. That's not just a quarterback issue. That's a systemic failure. So why bring in another young passer only to throw him into a situation that seems engineered to fail? That's what makes this rumored move feel less like a bold franchise-altering decision and more like another chapter in Cleveland's long history of quarterback misfires. The team needs to fix its foundation first. Brugler says Mendoza has elite football IQ and is excellent at reading defenses and making timing throws. Great. But without protection, without playmakers, and without a competent coaching staff, how much of that really matters? Let's not forget the emotional weight Browns fans still carry from the Watson deal. Trading away 3 first-round picks for him was supposed to stabilize the position for years. Instead, it's created a ripple effect that's still haunting this roster. And now, there's talk of giving away 2 more firsts plus another high pick? That's not team building. That's chasing a ghost, hoping to get lucky instead of creating a sustainable path to winning. If Cleveland really believes Mendoza is the answer, if the front office truly thinks he's the quarterback who will change the trajectory of the franchise, then sure, go get him. But you better be right. Because if you're not, you've just set this team back another half-decade in a league that doesn't wait around for rebuilds. There's another element at play here that complicates things even further: Shador Sanders. The young quarterback, drafted late by Cleveland, has shown intriguing flashes when given the chance to play. His arm talent, mobility, and playmaking ability are already getting the attention of fans and analysts. And while his play hasn't been perfect, it's worth noting that he's looked more promising than any other option the Browns have thrown out there in recent memory. If the coaching staff truly wants to evaluate talent fairly, Sanders deserves a full opportunity to prove he can be the guy next season. That's the more patient and arguably smarter path forward. Keep both first-round picks, invest in the offensive line, add another receiver, and evaluate Shador over the final stretch of this season. If he shows enough potential, you ride with him in 2026. If not, then you're well-positioned in 2027 with better infrastructure, cap flexibility, and hopefully a stronger front office to go all in on a quarterback from what many believe will be a stacked draft class. It's also impossible to ignore that Deshaun Watson is still under contract next season. He's medically cleared to return to practice, and unless something changes drastically, he'll be on the roster in 2026. That complicates any rookie quarterback situation. You're not just bringing in Mendoza, you're inviting a quarterback controversy, adding pressure to an already fragile locker room, and tying up valuable resources at a position that already feels overinvested. Cleveland can't afford to keep swinging wildly. They need to stabilize first. Build the roster. Fix the line. Add playmakers. Fire the coaching staff if necessary. Give Shador a fair shot. Then, and only then, go all in on a quarterback if you truly believe the timing is right. Until then, this kind of trade feels reckless, not bold. So Browns fans, what do you think? Would you trade both of our first-round picks and a day 2 selection for Fernando Mendoza? Is he worth that much? Or is this just another costly gamble by a franchise still trying to find its footing? Let me know in the comments. Let's take this further, because the implications of such a trade don't just affect next season. If the Browns actually pulled the trigger on Dane Brugler's proposed move, it wouldn't just be about acquiring Fernando Mendoza. It would reshape the franchise's draft strategy, roster construction, and internal quarterback dynamic for the next 3 to 5 years. That's not exaggeration. Trading away multiple high-value picks drastically narrows your margin for error. And this front office, let's be honest, hasn't exactly built up the kind of trust equity that would make fans comfortable with another all-in gamble, especially not after the Watson deal. The Browns are already still paying the price, both financially and with their roster flexibility, from that swing. This Mendoza scenario would be doubling down on the same bet that failed the first time. And again, Mendoza's not being compared to a game-breaker. Brugler says he reminds scouts of Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins. Those are solid players, but they're system quarterbacks. They require structure, a good O-line, and reliable targets. The Browns don't have that right now. You're not dropping Mendoza into Detroit's offensive line or Minnesota's receiver room. You're dropping him into Cleveland, a team that's cycled through offensive identities, coordinators, and philosophies like a franchise with zero stability. Think back on Cleveland's long list of failed quarterback projects. How many of those were actually given a real chance to succeed? How many had proper coaching, pass protection, or weaponry? The results have been predictable. Bust after bust. And while Mendoza may be better than most of those names on paper, he's entering a different environment. The core dysfunction remains. Unless that changes first, nothing else will. So, what should Cleveland do instead? Start with infrastructure. Use one of those 2 first-rounders to take a top offensive lineman, preferably someone who can play tackle. Use the other pick on a legitimate WR1, someone who can be a consistent target and elevate the passing game. You already have a defense that's holding its own. The time to balance that is now. Offense needs reinforcements, and not just at quarterback. Then there's the coaching issue. Kevin Stefanski has been here long enough for a verdict. His inability to develop quarterbacks is becoming a defining trait, not an anomaly. The offense has grown stale. The decision-making under pressure hasn't improved. The same mistakes, penalties, miscommunications, protection breakdowns continue to plague this team. If you're bringing in a rookie quarterback, why would you trust Stefanski and his staff with his development? Same with Andrew Berry. If he's behind this idea to trade multiple picks for another quarterback project, he might be writing his own resignation letter. The Browns can't afford more desperation moves from a front office that's feeling the heat. If you're going to reset the right way. Get a new head coach. Get a new offensive mind. Build a system that has a clear identity and that knows how to support a young quarterback before you actually bring one in. That brings us back to Shador Sanders. He's the wild card here, and maybe the only one that doesn't cost Cleveland more picks. What he's shown so far has been limited, sure. But there are flashes. He's poised in the pocket, he's not afraid to take shots downfield, and his mobility gives him an extra dimension the Browns haven't had in years. He's not a finished product, but he's intriguing, especially as a late-round pick with low risk and a high potential return. Why not give Shador the rest of this season? Build the offense around him. Give him actual game reps, let him sink or swim. Because if he shows promise, you just might have your guy, and you don't need to trade anything to make it happen. Worst case, he doesn't pan out, and you still have your 2 first-round picks and the flexibility to go get someone in 2027, when the quarterback class is expected to be loaded. And speaking of that 2027 class, names like Julian Sayin, Arch Manning, DJ Lagway, and Dylan Raiola could headline what could be one of the best quarterback groups in years. Why mortgage everything now for Mendoza when you might get a better talent, in a better situation, just a year or 2 later? There's a path here for the Browns that doesn't involve panic. It doesn't involve desperation trades or sacrificing long-term potential for short-term hope. It's a path that involves patience, smart drafting, and developing what you already have. Use this draft to build the offense. Evaluate Shador and finish the Deshaun Watson chapter. Then reset everything in 2026 with a new coach, new front office if needed, and a clear plan. Because if the Browns swing and miss again at quarterback with this kind of capital, the consequences will be massive. Not just for the front office, but for the fan base, for the locker room, and for the timeline of this team that, let's not forget, has a defense ready to win now. You can't waste that. You can't blow it on a gamble. Not again. So what do you think, Browns Nation? Is this the year to make the big move for Mendoza? Or is it time to pause, build the right foundation, and finally stop chasing quick fixes? Let us know in the comments. And if you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the video that's on your screen right now. All the breaking Browns news, draft rumors, and inside updates, you'll get them here first. Go Browns!